What is up, guys? My name is Shea and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm back with another video. And in today's video I'm going to be doing a Roblox tutorial video. Now, a lot of people on my previous Roblox tutorial videos, like my coding a sword video, as well as my how to put background music into my those videos, basically, a lot of people were asking if I was uploading it onto the wrong channel. And to be honest, I basically made the decision on both Twitter and personally that it would be best to just bring my Roblox tutorials back onto this channel, just because I think it would be a little bit more better. I guess it would get more attention, and a lot of people have said to me that they have subscribed to this channel, Shea, because of these tutorials. And so because of that, I want to make sure that people have these tutorials, and I will actually have an individual playlist for all of these tutorials so that you guys can check those out. So I will actually leave a playlist in my homepage, so when you actually go to my channel and you scroll down to see my content, you will actually see a playlist of all my newest Roblox tutorial videos. Now, I've changed the Roblox tutorial videos from the title of Roblox tutorials with Shea to just Roblox tutorials because I found it more simpler. I mean, even though the Roblox tutorials with Shea is a cool intro and all that, I thought it would be still better to just kind of go simple and to just do the tutorials that people want. But without further ado, I'm almost at 15,000 subscribers, so if you guys could actually hit that subscribe button, that would actually really help me out. Of course, my goal by the end of this year is to hit, I don't know, maybe like 20,000 subscribers. So if you could subscribe to this channel for me, that would really help me out. And yeah, but without further ado, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to animate in Roblox Studio, because I've done a tutorial on how to code swords, but I never specified how to do the animations, so I'll be doing that in this video. Alright, so for today's tutorial, I'm actually going to be using a place that I actually call character thing. And this place is actually the place that I'm now going to be keeping all my renders and stuff like that. Like everything that I make that has like some sort of render or something is actually going to be kept in this place. And of course the texture for some reason broke. I'm not sure why. Hold up, let me just try and load it again. There we go. Alright, so the texture is now completely loaded into this base plate. As you can see, it looks pretty simple, looks really straightforward. This line right here, if you're wondering what this line is for, it basically signifies the middle of the base plate, so that when I'm making Roblox renders, I can have it in the middle of the base plate, so that when I'm doing it in Blender, the position information is very easy and I can just render it then and there. But the point of this tutorial today is to show you guys how to make your very own character animations. Now, there's a couple of ways you can actually go about this. Now, the very first way you can actually use character animations is by going into plugins, and then we have what is called the Roblox Animation Editor. This plugin comes with Studio, so you honestly don't need to worry about installing it anywhere else. It is part of Studio. You can use it exactly from Studio, and beside it we actually have the Rig Builder. Now, it's important to use these two plugins because, first of all, the Rig Builder allows us to make rigs and stuff like that for Animation Editor. Like, we've got a couple of selections of different rigs that we can use. I personally like to use the block rig, but you can also make like a man rig. Like, if you're making animations for what I guess you're supposed to be like a game for a lot of, I don't know, like if you want your game to be mostly about like these types of avatars and stuff like that, I guess you would animate it on the man rig. But other than that, that's kind of where this whole thing is. But yeah, sorry about a few changes here. I just wanted to make sure that this base plate looks a little bit better here. And I changed the geographical latitude as well. But yeah, basically the rig builder, you can make R15 rigs, but you can also make R6 rigs. And these rigs can also be animated. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be using both. I'll just start with the basic R15 rig. Now, to animate anything, what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the animation editor, and you're just going to select the avatar that you want to edit. In this case, we're going to be editing the rig that we created. No animations for this rig, please create one, and then we just press create, And what it's going to do is it's going to create an animation. Now, I just want to kind of show you around the UI a little bit here. You can see that, so basically there are a few things that you can actually do here. So there's, each of these are the body parts of the character that you are animating. So if you select any of them, holy moly, can Roblox Studio just calm down here for a minute. But yeah, as I was saying, if you select any of these, you will actually be able to rotate these parts. Like if I actually select them individually, you can see that I can rotate them, and that is not what I wanted to do. If we go to the arm, you can see we can rotate it. We can just select any part, and if you want to undo anything, just press Control Z. In this case, I just want to put this arm right back there so that it looks completely normal. But now, as you can see, we have these little keyframes here, and I'm just going to delete them because that's not what I want. But yeah, so you can like select each of these individual parts. Now, if you actually select the individual parts, you can actually press R, and if you actually press R, you will be able to move certain parts as well. Like you can move them up, you can move them this way, you can do all sorts of stuff with that. If you ever want to reset your avatar, just delete the keyframe in the part you are moving. But yeah, apart from that, there's also what we call IK. So you can actually apply IK, and it'll ask you if you want to do it. Press yes. And once you apply IK, what it will actually do is if you move your avatar, it'll actually do some really interesting stuff with it. Like, it is a little bit glitchy, let me tell you that. But it's it can be a lot easier for some animators, like if they want to move around joints and stuff like that, like really cool and stuff like that. They kind of don't move naturally, but if you want to experiment with IK, you can. In this case, I don't really want to, so I'm just going to delete all these keyframes and reset my avatar. I can actually disable IK by just doing that. We also have what is called time, so you can just change the animation loop. And this little thing toggles the animation loop and it disables it. And then you can also go into settings and you can set all this other stuff here. You can also set the priority. I actually went through priority in my Roblox sword coding tutorial, but if you don't know what animation priority is, basically animation priority sets how much you want the animation to overlay the other animations in Studio. For example, if you want your hands being held out while you're walking, like I can't really show you an example here, you would probably use something like an action, so it would overlay over the other animations. In this case, by default, we're setting priority to core, I guess, but in this case, I kind of like movement or action, but with movement it'll cancel if you jump. Either way, with that being said, now that we know kind of how this UI works here, you can actually see there's a lot more stuff. We'll get into that later. But if you actually want to create an animation, in this case, I'm actually going to be simple here, and I'm just going to create an idle animation. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to select any part that I want, and this is going to be my first position. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all of these parts, and I'm just going to make a keyframe for every single one of them so that I have my first selection of keyframes. Now, I think that looks pretty cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go halfway into this animation, and I'm going to kind of start animating here. I'm just going to go back to my rotation. For some reason, I cannot select parts anymore. Hopefully now it's working. No, it is not for some reason. I guess I could just select the individual parts here. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to animate a nice, I guess I could say like a nice idle animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a few adjustments here as to what I want to do. In this case, again, I'm just going to keep this animation simple because I'm not really trying to do much here, because yeah, for reasons. But in this case, what I want to do is I just want to move and select the parts that I want to move. Maybe I want to select the head here and maybe rotate it a bit upwards. Maybe I want to select the hands or the arms, the different arms. It's all up to you. You kind of got to figure out, and it does take practice, but you'll kind of figure out what looks good and what doesn't. So in this case, I've kind of made my first position here, so I've made it in the wrong spot for some reason, but don't worry, I can just select this entire keyframe, just put it right in the middle here at 5, And then in this case, what I want to do is I just want to, I guess, select the whole thing here. Okay, there we go. The selection does work now. So I'll just select all these parts here and then just click them, and that'll create my first animation. And then now that I have my two animations, you can see that it kind of blends together here. I'm going to add one more animation, which is going to be at the very end here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click, copy keyframe, and Command V, I guess. Yeah, there we go. So in this case, I've created like a little bit of an idle animation. Again, I'm keeping this tutorial simple and straightforward. So if we actually play this here, you can kind of see how it kind of moves. Now I'm just going to enable looping so that you can see how the animation repeats over and over again. I mean, it doesn't look the best. I will say that, like, it does look weird, but again, this is a simple tutorial. Everything else is up to you guys to decide. But with that being done, I think the next step that I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to show you how keyframes can be changed and how keyframes kind of work here. So, we now have our animation, but to be honest, I think this animation looks a little bit odd. I'm actually going to change the time length. And as you can see, I can just change it to as many seconds as I want. And I can select all the keyframes and it'll actually show these little arrows, and I can just stretch it out as far as I can. I can even move the individual keyframes where I want, so I can have one midway and then one there. So I think I'm pretty happy with this animation, but it looks kind of weird. The easing of this animation is almost non-existent, and it makes the animation really weird, which brings me to the next thing about this tutorial that I'm going to bring up, which is different keyframes. So basically what this is if you right click on any type of keyframe, you can go to easing options, and basically it'll give you a bunch of options as to what kind of easing features you want. There are easing styles and there are easing directions as well. So there's a linear, which linear, to be honest, does look okay, but it doesn't have any easing features. I personally like using in and out cubic, because with cubic, what it actually does is it eases really cleanly. So you just select the top of the keyframe, or you can actually select individual keyframes that you want. You can see how when I did that, it changed the keyframes into a yellowy color, and this is because I have now changed the way that these keyframes ease, and I'll do it to the first one as well so that it looks nice and clean. And as you can see, if I actually play the animation, it looks a lot smoother. Like, look at that. Like, look at how smooth that looks. Again, this is not the best animation. I'm sure you guys can do better, but I'm just using this as an example. Now, if we actually go back into these animations, you can see that there are also other selections. For example, there's a animation style called constant, and constant is basically, what constant does is it basically just freezes the animation, like that. Like, it'll just freeze the animation. So if I actually just want to go to easing style in and out constant, you can see that the animation will stay the same, and then it will freeze, and then it will move like that, which is kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's cool. I'm glad that Roblox actually included a large amount of animation styles. Now there's more too. There's also elastic, and elastic's very interesting because it kind of bounces, and you'll see right away, like if you actually see, oh yeah, I forgot to change the animation style here, so I'm just going to change this to elastic. And elastic's really interesting. Like, look at this. Like, that's pretty cool, honestly. Like, the fact that Roblox actually has some very interesting animation easing styles looks really, really cool. So yeah, there's also elastic, and the last easing option that we actually have is bounce. So if we actually just change all of our animation keyframes to bounce, and last one will change to bounce once more. You can kind of see that when I play the animation, it kind of bounces with it. I don't know. I personally think the bounce animation looks kind of weird, but I think, again, it's all up to you. You can kind of choose what kind of stuff you want to do. But there's more to this too. You probably saw how there's different easing directions. Now you can actually change these easing directions. In this case, I'm just going to change them all to out. And you'll see how this animation changes when I do that. So you can see that when I have it only at out, it completely changes the way the animation looks. Like, it kind of bounces out. Like, it bounces out and then it bounces out again. We can also do this so we can change it to in. And what in does is when the animation is ending, that's kind of when it bounces. So if I just change this to in, so it'll ease in. So kind of like this. So it'll kind of go boom and then up, boom, it'll ease in. Now, of course, again, I am completely leaving this up to you guys, but in this case, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go back to my easing options, and I'm just going to use the cubic in and out. And then I'm going to right click, easing options, cubic in and out. And same for the other one as well, cubic in and out. And once you finally have your animation that you like, what I'm going to do, or what you're going to do, is you're just going to go to File and then Export. And then it's going to ask you to make a new animation. I'm just going to create new, and then I'm going to call this for video. And then we're just going to finish, and it should export. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to copy this little link right here, because I'm actually going to show you guys how you can play your own animations with my play animation script too. So if we actually just copy that and then we stop this, we can actually delete this dummy because we don't really need it anymore. We have now exported the animation officially. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load my character. So in this case, I'm just going to type in Sheasu, spawn R15, and just place my character right in the middle here. Pretty awesome. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my inventory, and I'm just going to scroll down here until I find my play animation script. Or actually, I think this is my old play animation. No, this is actually my newer one. And we're just going to put it into my character here. And as you can see, there will actually be this little animation here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to paste the animation that I made and put it right into there. And then there's also these settings. In this case, I want to enable it, and I can also change the speed. In this case, I want the speed to be the same. And what I can actually do is I can just press run, and hopefully the animation will run for us. And as you can see, there we have it. The animation that I have created is now finally running in my very own play animation script, which is really, really cool. And if you guys actually want to test this kind of stuff out, like if you want to test your animations and stuff to see if they work, I'd highly recommend that you use my play animation script. Of course, I will leave the video in the description below where you guys can actually see how I made the script, as well as the script model will be in that video description too if you guys want it for yourself. But yeah, you can kind of see how this animation now works, and if we just stop here, the entire workspace will stop. And now that that is finished, the next thing that I actually want to do is the next thing I want to do here is I can actually show you guys how to load in your animations that you finished as well. Like let's say you want to animate, like let's say you want to edit your animations a little bit. Like you can actually use the characters that you use. In this case, I'm just going to go back to my rig builder and go to R15, animation editor, create, and then I can go to import, and then what it will actually do is I can import this for video animation. And as you can see, this animation will actually load into the character. And I can actually do the same for my other animations. Like I have a bunch of other animations, like an attack animation. As you can see, this animation is pretty interesting. I don't know what I did with it, but it looks kind of funny. But you can kind of see how I can load these animations in and kind of change them as I go. But either way, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, make sure to leave it a like, and if you didn't, make sure to leave a dislike and tell me how I should improve in the future. If you guys have any problems with this tutorial or have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer as many of them as I humanly possibly can. But yeah, without further ado, I wish I did mention how to make R6 animations, but I'm pretty sure you guys can watch other tutorials on how to do that, so I'll let you guys do that. But either way, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace out, my friends, and have a great day.